Drinking vomit and talking to dolphins, all in the name of science.
Let's talk about that. Good mythical morning.
Aristotle said there is no great genius without a mixture of madness.
Aristotle said that.
Yeah, he did. He was talking to me. Did you hear it?
You said Aristotle.
You're listening
said
in?
That.
In all my conversations with the Stottle? But here's the thing, sometimes that mixture of madness overflows the cup of genius and goes all over the table. You gotta get a ShamWow out and get that stuff up, and the ShamWow says, hey, if you were such a genius, why couldn't you clean up after yourself?
Oh, the ShamWow speaks? Well, I want one of those, 1995.
Well, science may prove that it does.
Me and the Stottle hanging out with a ShamWow.
We have some crazy, crazy people who are really good at science. We're gonna talk about those people. What?
I love it. I love the setup. I love everything about it.
All right, so I got a couple, you got a couple. Nikola Tesla, this dude, you know, he invented the coil. He invented alternating current. He invented wireless electricity, which is a little bit dangerous, but completely awesome. But turns out he was also OCD before it was called OCD. And that's just kind of putting together his habits in such a way it's like, ooh, that is what he had. Case in point, he did not like anything round. Like, he'd freak out if there was like a woman who had like a pearl necklace.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he didn't like to touch hair.
Oh, yeah.
Which, with hair like he has, I guess he got someone to do it, like a stylist to fix
How
that
do you
stash.
avoid that mustache, though? That's the question.
I don't know. It was probably other people's hair that he wouldn't touch, and he was obsessed with the number 3. Get this, he would walk around buildings before he went inside 3 times. Go 3 times around a whole building.
Checking the perimeter.
I mean, how big of a building? I guess he didn't go in really large buildings.
Like the Louvre. He never went in the Louvre.
Got too winded or something. He used 18 napkins at every single meal.
Sounds like my kids.
3 stacks of 6.
That's excessive.
I know, it's like, think about the trees, Tesla. You gotta save the woods,
No,
man.
it didn't matter back then.
But
There were so many trees back then.
I think that's why he was going around the perimeter. He was looking for napkins.
17.
Before I
can go inside.
Before I go into this restaurant, he would squish his toes 100 times every night before he went to bed.
Oh, no, I do that.
He said that stimulated his brain cells.
Stimulates the brain cells.
Right.
Squishing with his fingers like this little piggy went to the market?
No, just doing his toes like
doing
this.
claw toes.
Claw toes. He was doing that. Stimulating his brain cells, you know.
Speaking of stimulated brain cells, how about Jack Parsons? He was a self-taught rocket scientist, but he wasn't just some dude doing rocket science in a shed. I mean, this guy contributed significantly to rocket science, and he also founded JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory over in Pasadena.
I could have said the whole thing in unison. I can still be speaking.
I don't want you to.
Okay.
But things got a little bit weird when Jack got involved with an occult religion called Thelema, which I originally read as Thelma, and then I realized there was an extra E in there, and it's Thelema. And
Never heard of it.
Well, apparently it was pretty easy to work your way up to the top because he became the leader of Thelema, and he led the cult from his mansion in Pasadena.
We could visit.
One thing you need to know about Thelema is that the law of Thelema is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.
What if you don't want to love?
Well, I think that just means do what you want. I don't think do whatever you want. So
What did he do?
well, what he did is he got with his friend L. Ron Hubbard. Ever heard that name? Yeah, maybe the guy that started Scientology. He was his good friend at the time, and they would get
Definitely the guy who started
and do rituals where they were trying to, quote, manifest an incarnation of the archetypal divine feminine called Babylon. That just means get a woman named Babylon to show up. And
Any woman named Babylon?
Well, no.
Could have put a Craigslist
And
ad
then
out.
when Babylon shows up, Jack wanted to bear a child with her, which is just a really interesting way to meet the ladies, you know? To manifest them out of the spirit world.
That's a convenient way to do it.
So
And
why-
make a bear child?
No, he was trying to bear a child.
Oh,
He wanted
that's
her
easier.
to bear a child.
If you can manifest
I'll
a
make
woman,
bear
you can
child.
also make a bear child.
So, yeah, and if they hadn't gotten together, I could have totally imagined them like, how'd you guys meet? Well, I manifested her in a ritual with my friend Elron. Well, while he was trying to manifest Babylon, Elron decided he was going to run off with Jack's wife. He took Jack's wife and Jack's life savings and went off and took that money and wrote the book Dianetics. So you can thank John Travolta and Tom Cruise have Jack ultimately to thank for the life-changing message of Scientology that he's experiencing on a day-to-day basis.
And the Mars rover. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
So let's balance it out. I mean, you take the weird with the great. With this guy, it's just mostly weird. Stubbins Firth. He spells his name with 2 F's, so I'm just gonna call him Mr. Firth.
How about Firth?
No,
just hold it longer.
Firth. We talked about this guy in episode 63 of Ear Biscuits, where we talked about weird science experiments.
Quite a memory you got there.
At Link, no, I noted the episode. But I just couldn't help but talk about them here because this dude, what he did was amazing. Now, back in the early 1800s, he wanted to prove that the yellow fever was not contagious, but it knocked out 10% of the population of Philadelphia. So this was something they wanted to get to the bottom of how it was being spread. He said, it's not contagious from person to person, and I will prove it by doing experiments on one guinea pig himself.
Oh, okay.
Here's what he did. He took the vomit of yellow fever patients.
Is it yellow?
I don't know. Let's just picture it like yellow vomit.
Okay, let's think of it as yellow vomit.
He started cutting his own arms and then pouring the yellow fever vomit, which was yellow, definitely, over the wounds to see if he would contract it. Science. He next poured the vomit into his eyeballs.
Go, 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 go. Sounds like he's making an episode of Good Mythical Morning. Watch what I do this week.
Don't plant any seeds
For the views.
Then he fried up the vomit in a pan and just inhaled the fumes, and I guess that made him hungry because then he proceeded to just drink straight vomit.
Well, that would be thirsty.
He didn't get sick.
Well, of course not.
He did not. So maybe it wasn't the vomit. Then he proceeds to take the blood, the saliva, and the urine of yellow fever patients and smear it all over his body.
How did he get this? You left that part out. Well, you know what? I'm glad you left that part out.
He has yellow fever patients, and he gets them to
pee in this or bleed on that. Yeah, that's nice.
After smearing it all over him and going out on a date with his wife, he still didn't get the yellow fever.
Where did the date with the wife come in?
He didn't get it. So he said, okay, it's not contagious, except it is contagious.
Right.
It is a viral disease spread by the blood. Hello. But basically, he lucked. I'm gonna start saying hello.
Hello.
He lucked out because he took the vomit and the other liquids from late-stage patients who were no longer contagious. Yeah. 60 years later, they make a link between mosquito bites.
And then 150 years later, they make a link. Sitting right here next to me. Sue and Charles made a link. They manifested a bear child known as Link. Okay, John C. Lilly. This guy was a neurophysiologist, a biophysicist, an inventor, and a dolphin researcher. Pay attention to the dolphin part. He also was the inventor of the sensory deprivation tank, which we have a lot of experience
Big
with.
fan of this guy then.
We both had great times in there. But things got a little bit weird with John because in the name of research, he decided he was going to take LSD in the company of dolphins. And of course, while on the LSD around the dolphins, he got the idea, man, I want to communicate with these dolphins, man. I want to, speak to them, man. I want to talk directly to the dolphins. And I don't mean, the squeak noise. I want to, really communicate.
That's my best.
Instead of doing it himself, he gets his young female assistant, Margaret, to live in a house with a dolphin named Peter. Okay, first of all, this sounds like a Cartoon Network show that comes on after Uncle Grandpa. Margaret and Peter the dolphin. But for 10 weeks...
Did she live in an aquarium?
She lives, and for 10 weeks in 1965, he has her in a house that is partially flooded. The dolphin and Margaret live in a partially flooded house. So the dolphin can just swim around, and then she has a bed that's over the water.
The bottom part was flooded.
Yeah.
Not the left side.
Yeah.
The east wing.
The whole thing is flooded. Water seeks its own level. That's one of the realities of life.
And then she manifested.
And the dolphin was in the water. And now it gets kind of weird because people say that they had a relationship that could be described as romantic. She also taught Peter how to say the word ball. It's quite a relationship, if you ask me, getting a dolphin to say the word ball, which I would have loved to hear that, but I don't tape something. And this didn't stop John in his quest to communicate with dolphins, so he began giving the dolphins LSD. It didn't work. Nothing happened.
So John, they kept saying ball. And he was like, no,
Say
LSD.
Say something else, man. So anyway, the dolphins lived a great life after that, I'm sure.
I've always said that the pinnacle of any romantic relationship is when your partner just says ball a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks for liking and commenting and subscribing.
You know what time it is.
I'm Cassie. Billy. I'm Lonnie. And we're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it's time to spin the wheel of mythicality.
You can watch Good Mythical Morning 24 hours early by going to vessel.com/Rhett and Link.
Vessel.com/Rhett Link. Click through to Good Mythical More. I've got 2 more entertainingly mad scientists to talk about.
Unisong about Johnny Depp.
Have you heard of a dude who's great at acting? And he also smells a little funny. He looks like a pile of scars with a weak big mustache on top.